Political observers say there has been a trend toward more interest and more spending in the races for seats on Montana's Supreme Court, and that is continuing this year. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Ambarian shows us how the candidates and outside groups are defining the races.
It's been more than 20 years since Montana voters elected 2 members of the 7-member state Supreme Court without an incumbent on the ballot, and there's more attention than ever on these races.
There's been more politicization of Supreme Court races past 10, 15 years, particularly as outside interest groups have taken more of an interest and have spent significantly more money on the Montana races.
Last month, Jeremy Johnson, chair of Carroll College's Political Science Department, hosted all 4 Supreme Court candidates for a forum in Helena. Broadwater County Attorney Corey Swanson and former federal magistrate Judge Jerry Lynch are running to become Chief Justice. District Court Judges Catherine Bittigary of Sidney and Dan Wilson of Flathead County are seeking an Associate Justice position. Each of the candidates has raised more than $300,000 for their own campaigns, but even more spending is coming from outside groups. While they're all running independently, those outside ads have reinforced the perception that they're in 2 separate camps.
They've embraced either one group of 2 or the other set of 2 candidates. There's not a crossover between, among those 4 candidates. There's a pair of more liberal candidates and a pair of more conservative candidates.
Lynch and Bittigary, who've both talked about defending the judiciary and the importance of the rights in the state constitution, have each received support from PACs linked to the Montana Trial Lawyers Association, and the ACLU has announced more than $1 million in spending, not officially endorsing candidates, but saying Lynch and Bittigary would protect abortion rights.
Do I like the amount of expenditures? Not necessarily, but at the same time, if it's informative. And what I mean by that, if the ads are truthful, then that helps the citizens decide who they should vote for. What I do not like and I just won't tolerate is false advertising.
I can't control what these other groups are saying, what they put out in the form of media. I myself am launching a campaign with the funds that I've been graciously lucky, I guess, to have, that have been contributed mostly by regular Montanans. And I'm going to use that in a positive way.
Swanson and Wilson have both talked about voters being concerned about impartiality on the court. Ads supporting them have come from conservative-leaning groups.
If people are freaking out now or complaining because there are conservative groups that are getting into the ball game and are trying to even reach parity, I don't even think they're going to reach parity with the liberal groups. I don't see that as doom and gloom. I see that as people realizing that there's been one side of a conversation that's been well-funded. If the other side is going to be well-funded, great.
The amount of money that my campaign raises and spends in this entire race is going to be dwarfed by the amount of money that's going to be spent by outside groups. And that's simply a reality that I can't change. So I don't spend time dwelling on how I feel about it, what I believe is appropriate about it. It's just the way things are.
The winning candidates will have an impact on the court for a long time to come. Each of them will serve an 8-year term. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.